All right, welcome everybody to the Spartan Canada Podcast. We're excited to be bringing some more, maybe newer faces, maybe familiar faces to the platform. And we're going to really showcase some more racer profiles on here with, all various levels and backgrounds and just really get to know our community a little bit deeper this season. So I'm excited to introduce you guys tonight to Rory. He's been in the community a little while now. You might recognize him, maybe you don't, but by the end of this, you're going to feel like you're friends. And I'm excited for him to share his story. He's been around for a little while. He races with his wife. So it's very much a family affair for him. So Rory, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about when did you first get introduced to Spartans?
I ran my first race in 2022. It was the Ottawa one. I live just outside of Ottawa, and some friends of my wife were starting to race, and they were like, "Oh, you should try this out." And I wasn't much of a runner, let alone doing doing anything close to OCR. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll train up to the 5K. And then we both tried it. My wife did the 10 and the 5 in their first weekend. I only did the 5. And then we just really enjoyed it and then kept coming back.
That's awesome. Do you have any athletic background like previous to Spartan, or did you just be like, I'm going to be an athlete now and I'm going to do this thing?
Uh, not really. Like I did, I played hockey in high school and basketball a little bit when I was younger, but no, it'd been a long time since I did
Yeah.
athleticism.
Well,
I
what about
love
your
that.
wife? Because to do a 5 and a 10 in one weekend on your first weekend, what's her
hmm
background? Does she have any athletic background or fitness or?
She not too much herself either, but she did. She had started running a few years prior, where she actually it had been a few years. I think 2017. A friend of hers challenged her to run 600, no, yeah, 600 kilometers in a year,
Oh,
and
wow.
so she immediately like that was her introduction to running. So she picked it up there, and then kind of had been running bits and pieces since then. So she was a little better at it than I was, and she's still better at it than I am. Um, but yeah, not too much other than that though.
But you
Well,
guys
she's
stick
run.
together a lot on the course, and that's kind of fun as well. So that makes it quite
Yeah,
an experience. Tell us a little bit about that. How does that motivate you?
yeah, um, it kind of became a thing where it was something else for us to do together, and it's a lot of fun. And I think my height helps me keep up with her a little bit. My stride's a little longer,
You don't
so
have you take one step for her too.
exactly. So like coming down the mountains, it's I'm a little quicker, but uh, she goes up them quicker. But it's really nice. It's something that we just really enjoy doing together, and it's we're kind of lucky that we're both very similar level at it because then we can keep together because we don't want to slow the other down, but it just happens that it works out, and she yeah, it's kind of thing that's kept us coming back outside of it. It's a lot of fun and it's a great thing to do. Is that it's something else that we can do together.
Oh,
hmm
totally. And I mean, I know too, because I also started my Spartan journey racing with my husband and a couple of my best friends. And it's just really cool because, I mean, first of all, like anyone can get through it, right? And obviously, the
hmm
intensity at which you approach the Spartan race is totally individual, but it's just so cool because there's not a lot of things you can do once you get into like adulthood and like deeper into your marriage where you can truly do together. And like I
Yeah.
found it's just been so fun for us, and every race is so different to kind of like it's something enjoyable, it's fun, you help each other, you kind of bicker back and forth, but it's been awesome, even just like our marriage too, to have that slightly competitive edge thrown back in there again, right?
And the first
Yeah,
time
for
I met
sure.
Rory, it was on an ultra race too. So that's quite,
Oh,
yeah, that's not just a little joke. And of course, it's Tremblant Ultra, which I think is very crazy hard. So I know when I met them, it was very motivating. It was exciting to see a couple racing. So what got you guys to from 2022 to I think it was 2023 when I first saw you on the course? That was within a year. You just said, okay, yep, 5K was good. Let's go for 50.
Yeah, yeah. Our first year,
Well, I
well,
mean, his wife ran 600 kilometers, so what's
yeah,
50?
Yeah, true.
exactly. It was our first year. I think one of the smart things that Spartan does to get you hooked is those little wedges on the metal.
Oh my
Mhm.
Because
gosh,
once we
yes.
got these, because I got the 5K in the one weekend, and my wife got the two pieces, the 5 and the 10. So we were both like, oh, should we try the 21? So we did both do the 21 at
Yeah, nice.
Blue. And then, but that year, a friend of ours did the trifecta weekend at Blue,
Hmm.
and so we both were like, oh, I guess that's next year. But then, yeah, 2023, I did the Vermont Ultra at Killington
That was
in
your first
September.
ultra?
Yeah, that was my first ultra. I
That's
figured go big or
amazing.
go home, right?
And did you complete
You
it? Did
went
you both
big.
complete?
Yeah, yeah, we got her done in I think I want to say it was 14 hours. That was a slog. The worst part of that was it was like, you train up to it, and I ran it with a friend of mine who'd done a bunch of them too, and he does a lot of the like we do the racing weekends with him too, and he's really good at the long distances, and he was like, yeah, if you train up to it, I'll do Killington with you. So he waited for me a lot that day. My buddy Mike, but yeah, where was I going with this? I finished it, but yeah, the starting the person sending us off was saying like, okay, who's done Killington before? And like all these people put their hands up, and they're like, who has DNF'd and is yet to complete it? And all these hands went up, and I was like, uh-oh.
And you're like, wait, are they going to ask who's first time ever coming to Killington?
Yeah, there were less of us for that one,
And do you
but
know what the finish rate was that day? Was it a hard day or?
I think it was around 50%.
Yeah.
I think.
Which is
Something
similar
like
That
to
sounds
that.
what
about right for
Yeah,
Killington.
yeah, Killington. I think
Mm.
Tremblant had a little higher this year, even though it was crazy, and very
Yeah.
different. But I think they're very similar. I haven't done Killington. It's a bucket list one, obviously. But every time I do the ultra, I meet someone like you or somebody else who talks about Killington for a half an hour while we walk up a hill that never ends. And
Yes.
I'm thinking as I'm walking up the hill, there's no way I would ever want this to be worse. But they always say, oh, if you can do this one, you can do Killington. So, but you just
Mm.
went straight to that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was
So
it was something, definitely.
I grabbed out since you were talking about the
Yeah.
wedges. Okay, so this was just it sits like right beside my desk. So this was the first year I did the full trifecta. I've done more since. However, you guys, this is a really fun if you're like Jill and I and Rory and you like, swag or like just things.
Mhm.
This is a great incentive to do all three because you can do all three in a season. You can do them in a weekend. We've got some of the like other medals. You get bigger ones like the more you do in a season and stuff like that. But
And
anyways,
I always
so
say
those are the wedges Rory was talking about, and then you can put them on this cool little
you can even get them
trifecta
with
thing.
Swarovski crystals. They sell them that one as well too. So if you really want to bling it up, yeah, you can buy the whole triangle with Swarovski crystals. So
Nice.
Well,
Amber's
good
like,
thing I
I'm
didn't know that when I bought
immediately
this
on the website.
triangle.
Now you have to do another trifecta weekend and Swarovski. The weekend that you do the ultra, because we're actually trying to get Amber to do the ultra this year. It she may be doing it. It's in
Come
her.
on.
It's going to happen. And that'll be the Swarovski crystal trifecta.
We'll have to survive it
Okay.
first. So there's also
You will.
that.
Well, I'm going to drag you up and down the hill. It'll be fun. I'll be the one
Jill's just
just
gonna carry me
clapping.
on her back. Who are we kidding?
Actually, I'm just going to be there to tell you to slow down. That is the key, I think. It's slowing
Okay.
down. Would you agree, Rory? Is not going
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Saving some in the tank for the end, and yeah, definitely
Actually, you know what? This is a great opportunity to ask. Okay, Rory. first time, let's forget like Spartan racer. Let's just jump right to the ultra. Okay. First time Spartan ultra participant. What would be your best piece of advice for that rookie?
Um, train with a lot of different types of food,
Hmm.
and so that because two things. If you're close to a mountain, say Tremblant, go run like a marathon there, like 2 weeks or so beforehand. And then the second thing, the big thing for me was food because I'm lucky. I'm one of those people who can eat like solid food on while running. And I like a bunch of different things. So I had a bunch of options on my person, but at Killington specifically, the only thing that I could keep down were like a specific protein bar. Everything else was just getting like my body was like, no, no, we're not doing this today. And I'm like, come on, man. Well, I'm out here all day. I need to eat something. And like at the end of the day, like probably eating six Cliff Bars was not the best idea, but it was what I could eat. So it was lucky that I had them. But yeah, I
Sometimes
usually
that's it. That's all you can do
exactly.
sometimes. Like I remember doing
Hmm.
one on straight sugar and I felt terrible after, but after a certain point, my body was like, yeah, you're throwing up everything or you're eating this. They were honey stingers. I couldn't eat them for almost a year after that. And I had all different kinds of honey stingers too. So that's all I could do. And then I went off them for a year. I can eat them again. But it's true, and it's really cool to watch what people are eating and see all of
Hmm.
that stuff because sometimes I've seen tacos and stuff like that at Tough Mudder. People were eating tacos at the 12 hour, and I'm like, how are you doing this?
a,
You can
a
do
buddy
that.
of mine took an entire pizza and he did the Tremblant Ultra. He just
Jeez,
he bought like a pizza from a pizzeria and then like just folded it up, put it in a bag, threw it in his backpack, and he just ate pizza all day.
that's
That's gonna be
fantastic.
me.
I hope it
That'll be
is.
me, Phil. We'll
So
just
it
have a pizza party at the halfway mark.
And Amber loves cookies and all of those things. So you're actually
Yeah.
encouraged to eat different kinds of cookies all day long. So,
Okay,
There you
well,
go.
this might be my race. We just haven't found out yet.
honestly,
So,
I tell people it's just going out for the day to eat snacks and meet new people
Yeah.
and see people that you know and have some fun.
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
sounds like the best
Oh,
day
another
ever,
thing,
actually.
fresh socks in the bucket.
Oh, yes.
Oh, fresh socks. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Fresh socks.
Do
That's a
I
big
even
one.
do more than
Actually,
that.
you
I
know
do
what?
shoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I guess so.
It
Both,
felt really good.
shoes and socks. Yeah.
Especially if there's a dunk wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what is your
for
training like? What's your training like leading up to the races that you're going to be doing?
Um, right now I'm just mostly working on running, trying to up my amount. Because I kind of dropped off after the season last year. I wasn't doing much at all. And then so then I'll work in a lot of strength. I go to I try to get out to like either bouldering gyms or like the OCR gyms and stuff like that to kind of keep up the grip strength and the upper body strength. And then once it's warmer, Julie and I and our friend Mike, who we run with, we do what like a lot of dirty runs, like dirty half Mary we call it, and it's like you run a K, you come and then you come back to where you started and you do some sort of workout thing, whether it be 30 burpees or throw the spear a bunch of times, get over a wall, carry a bucket around my house, stuff like that.
That's
And
fun.
then yeah, yeah, and then like once it's warmer again, and try to get out to like the ski hills once the snow's gone, and start spending the whole day there running up and down.
I mean,
so
at
do you
least you
guys
live
have
close.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you make like obstacles? Because you said you'll do the spear throw and stuff. So did you like make those and put them in your backyard?
yeah, yeah, yeah. My friend made spears for us, and then so we have a target in my backyard. I built a 6.5 foot wall just to kind of work on that kind of stuff. We have like a bucket. we live out in the country a bit, so we have like random things around the house. Like I have a big log we carry around.
Nice.
There's a tire with a chain. I throw concrete on. You got to drag it like the plate
Oh
drag.
yeah.
Just
Mhm.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea, actually. I got some tires in my backyard too.
Yeah. You can
I
really
should do
take
that.
anything that you have and that
Yeah,
just grab something heavy and I
and
mean,
pull it.
that's
That's
all it
actually
is.
that's the cool thing about Spartan is like the fundamental movements that you're actually executing in each like obstacle is such like just like simple, not simple, but like just daily functional movements that you could very simply, I say that, replicate with you like you said, you just you do this. It's obviously much harder in the race, but I mean the
Mm.
concept of the movement is such like everyday, just like human movements. Like you're pulling stuff,
Mhm.
you're climbing things, you're carrying things, you're lifting things. Like, things that like humans just are naturally supposed to do. I just had a little aha moment here on this podcast.
I think that's the appeal though to adults, right? Like
Yeah.
we have a lot of options for fitness. We have a lot of options to get distracted and we know I think every adult knows it's good to be outside. It's also good to do fitness. It's good to try and do your best to eat well, but
Mhm.
like none of that's really fun individually, but if you can find a way to put all that together and I mean add a wife or add a friend, that's even better. So and if you don't have friends or a wife
Yeah.
or a husband that want to do it with you, you're going to meet friends out there too. You're going to meet a lot of people out there.
Mhm.
True. But I
It,
guess that's why this race is accessible for people who maybe don't have such a high athletic background because the functionality of the obstacles are very just
and,
functional.
and
So
it's interesting to hear people's stories now that we've talked to so many people of not do, they had grown up maybe not doing any sports or anything, and then getting into Spartan racing and realizing that they're actually really good at it. For
mhm.
you, it's you've got the endurance and you can just do an ultra effect over a weekend. Like that's not a small feat, right? So it's very interesting
Yeah.
No.
to see that. Like, if you weren't an athlete as a kid or growing up or even now, it doesn't mean that you can't be one starting tomorrow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Just go out
Yeah,
and
for
shovel some
sure.
of that snow that we have. Are
Yeah.
you guys getting the same amount of snow in Ottawa?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's been
Yeah,
a
we have
lovely
feet.
winter. So really,
So
it's just prep for our cold races. And because in Canada, we could
Mhm.
have, I mean, Blue Mountain could be cold. It could also be the nice day. And Tremblant could be summer at the bottom and winter at the top. So you
yes,
never know.
that
Mhm.
is true. I feel like we had all seasons last time I was there, but like in
Yeah.
different parts of the mountain, it was like, oh, here we are, spring. Oh, it's snowing. We're back to
Yeah.
winter. But Rory, tell us. I'm curious. I mean, obviously you've done lots of different Spartan races. What's your favorite memory? Could be funny, could be like a hard thing. Because as much as I said the concept of the obstacles is simple, they are hard. Like the way they put them together and where they place them in the race is hard. So what's one of your favorite like race memories?
Uh, oh man, I don't know. It's there's a lot of little things. Completing the races when I didn't think I could is awesome. Um, Getting through the ultra was great. Getting to run an ultra with my wife was awesome because her first one was last year at Tremblant, and seeing her get through that was awesome. I think the first time I got no, what was it? I don't know. There's just little things like first
So
time I got
many.
through Olympus was like, what? I
Hmm.
can't believe I did that. Like not last year, but the year before, it was raining on the 21, and I got through Beater, and everyone else was falling off, and I was like, what happened? I don't know why that worked. And the guy was like, oh man, I'm getting through this. I was like, what?
You're the
um,
first one to get this in like 3 hours, probably.
yeah, yeah. It's the big mitts. It's got to be that.
You know what? Those little things, though, are so awesome. Like, honestly,
Hmm.
everything that you just said, I've also felt as well. And that could make your whole weekend. I mean, getting the spear for the second time in the ultra, because you have to do it twice, that could be your thing. It
Yeah.
it just is, it could be one
Well,
little thing.
And two, it can kind of like give you new momentum for the rest of the race too.
Yeah.
Because I always find like sometimes when you're like, oh no, like here comes this obstacle, right? And like sometimes you don't really know how it's gonna go down, but if it ends on a positive note, I find it always kicks me into that. I find that next year for the rest of the race because it's a feel good moment, and I think we all have some of those like surprise
Mm.
obstacle finishes where you're like, oh yeah,
I did that. Yeah.
right?
I
And
I
they
just
feel
thought
good.
I just thought of one. I think I gave someone else one of those moments when we were at Killington when the beast broke off from the ultra. The path for the ultra went like straight up the side of the mountain, and there
Of
was this
course.
guy who was like, I could hear him coming up behind me, and he's just like, no, I can't go up another one. And I turn around, I saw that he didn't have the purple, and I was just like, buddy, were you running the beast? He's like, no, yeah, I'm doing the beast. I can't go another hill. I was like, that's for us, man. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I pulled on the penny. I was like, it's ultra. You get to go that way. He's like, oh, he was so happy.
Yeah, thank
I
goodness.
remember there was a race. I think it was Strong long 2 years ago, and it was the beast. And it was just like every time we came out of the woods, we're like, okay, if we're gonna be turning right for sure, which means we're going back down the hill. And every time we came out, it was like, oh, left turn, and we just kept saying like, we cannot go up this hill anymore. And like it was so funny because every time we came out of the bush, like a whole bunch of people were like, no, we're turning left. Because they
I
had
felt
us like kind of dig across and then up and then across and then up like 10 times.
Mm.
And then finally we got to turn right and go back down the hill to do it all again.
I know, and somehow Nick finds the hardest and longest way to get up the hill and then the shortest way down. So it's like,
Yep.
Yeah.
oh, there's an hour climbing up the hill and 30 seconds you're down and back up again.
That's because Jill opens up totally on the downhill. Really fast.
Yes, I try to. And I love that you do too, Rory, because that the downhill is the most fun part for me. I like running them. Probably the only
Yeah,
time I
same.
really run in the ultra, aside from flat.
I try to trot on the flat.
Yeah.
I attempt to run and it turns into a trot.
Yes, yes, that's true. I know. Or like just like your legs are shuffling somehow. So you
Mhm.
have an interesting fun fact that is very different from Spartan. So let's talk about that really quickly before we wrap up. But you are a musician as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a touring musician, and which I think is
Very cool.
doesn't doesn't really yeah it's a funny balance I think with this because I don't know it the one thing I will say is touring doesn't help with the training. Um,
True.
I toured Canada. I toured Canada in September last year before Blue Mountain, and I think I ran like 14 kilometers in the entire month of September. But yeah, yeah, just
What kind of music is
write
it
and
that you
record my own
play? And
music, and
are you by yourself or do you have a band or a little combination?
it's I play by myself. I do alternative folk music, and yeah, it's tour solo, and
Awesome.
it's good. I used to yeah.
Okay, he's being humble. I just looked him up on Instagram, guys. He's a big deal. So
No.
go find him on Instagram, everybody.
And I'm sure you're on Spotify as
Oh,
well. I've
thanks.
heard some because I've been following you for a bit now. So it's very,
Nice.
very cool and just interesting to just get to know who you're racing with on these courses. Like we have all diverse backgrounds. So I think that is very neat. Where do you go? Are you across Canada or mostly Ontario or lots of local stuff?
I do everything really like I did I put a record out in August, so I toured coast to coast end of August through September last year. I've got a couple tours going out east this year so far and stuff like that. It's been fun like you were saying like even if you don't have friends to do Spartan with you, we'll make friends there and like because Julie and I been doing this a while like we've started to meet people like yourself, and then afterwards they're like, "Oh, you play music." And I've had a few, "Oh, you're actually okay," you know.
It's actually like for real you play music. You're not just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy in the
yeah.
basement with your guitar.
No,
I mean, that's
yes,
cool too. Don't stop if you're in your basement
no.
with guitar. But
No,
you're
that is.
actually getting paid to tour, and that is very interesting.
Mhm.
Does Julie
Yeah,
go with you when you do it, or does she have to stay most of the time?
a bit of both. It's great when she can come. We've done. She's come to the East Coast a few times with me, and we did the West Coast once together. It's just such a long haul with
Hmm.
like just with work and everything like that. But she did get to come to the East Coast with me for a week last year, and that was a lot of fun. It's great to do. And then, like we get to just see things as well. And it's like, working vacation is the wrong word, but it's like, okay, we have a day off. Let's go see this thing in the area. And or last year when she came with me out east, it was before Tremblant at the Ultra. So if we had some downtime, we'd go try to find like a mountain out east or something like that. So we're like,
Oh,
okay, we
fun.
got I got 3 hours to get to this place, and it's only going to take an hour to drive. We got 2 hours to go find a mountain, run up and down it a bunch of times, and then get to the get to the hotel to shower before going to the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I bet that gives you like a burst of energy too throughout your
yeah,
and all the
yeah.
things.
It was a little extra tiring with the training as well, but it was nice. It was good. Yeah.
And then your strength training could be just hauling your equipment around. That could be
Uh,
helpful.
yeah. It definitely. I that was one of the things I noticed when we started doing Spartan more was that the load in and out of the venue got a lot easier. It was less struggling and like, oh, I could pick this up like this now.
Just do an Atlas carry and away we
Exactly.
go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
see,
You're not carrying the ant by the handle. You got it on your back.
yeah, we're just realizing that like Spartan is really for functional lifestyle. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we
Yeah.
haven't learned anything else on this podcast, we all had the light bulb moment today.
we all had our own individual light bulbs for different reasons. Well, this has been really, really fun. I'm excited to get back out on the race course. Are you coming to Brimacombe or what's your first race of the season?
Yeah, we're gonna do Brimacombe. We both got the season's pass again this year, so we're gonna come and do as much as we can. And then are you doing Ultra at Tremblant?
Yes, I'm going to do the Ultra again.
Nice.
I
Nice.
always
I,
stay
I will see
tapped.
you out there then. Yeah.
Yay.
I wasn't gonna do it again, and then a friend of mine, my friend Mike's doing it, and I was like, okay. Yeah. Can't leave
I
you hanging.
know.
So
It's hard to not do it. I think about
mhm.
sometimes I'm like, oh, do I want to do that? Maybe I'll focus on 5K, 10K. Maybe I'll do this time. But then I just get thinking about it and it's like FOMO. I'm like, how can I not go do that?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. And then they put the buckle out and you're like,
and you're
that
you're
looks
like,
cool.
ah, I need that. I need another medal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So, Rory, I mean, I found you very easily on Instagram, but how can the community connect with you and follow your journey? Is it best on Instagram, Facebook?
Either or works. I'm on both frequently. It's just, yeah, Rory Tallion and on both. And then, yeah, if you want to check out my music, it's just under my name too. It's just, Rory Tallion. And then, yeah, or you just yell at me on the hill when you see me. I'm the big guy with a beard.
sing for us. You'll be like,
Everybody's
don't.
going to be
Yeah,
asking
right.
for autographs now on the hill, so everybody bring your Spartan markers.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much, Rory, for being on here with us today and just, showing a little bit more just of the community that we have here at Spartan because it really is truly one of a kind. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was nice. I'm glad we can make it happen.
Yeah.